Hello and welcome to the Empathy Podcast. This podcast seeks to explore the minds of those who not only understand or experience empathy, but of those who wish to take action, build, and practice empathetic behavior through conscious decision and responsible lifestyle choices. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, this podcast might be just for you. So sit back, relax, and use what you were born with, empathy. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Empathy Podcast. We're here with a very special guest. We are sharing heartfelt stories, meaningful connections, transformation stories, and insights to lead a more compassionate, empathetic life. I'm your host, Kevin Luna, and today I'm very excited to sit down with Shadi Martin, a faith-based holistic health coach and inspirational speaker who's making a profound impact in the wellness world. Shadé is the founder of Love Yourself to Health, which is a platform that is dedicated to empowering others through holistic healing. Having reversed her own struggles with fibroids and IBS, she's now on a mission to help others transform their health and well-being with a faith-centered approach. She helps so many people through social media and also through digital creation. And so she's here to share her journey and her story, and hopefully to help anyone listening that may be experiencing some of these things as well. So Shadé, without further ado, if you want to go ahead and take it away and share your story and anything you want to share with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to share with your audience the transforming journey and the for them to know that they have the power to take their journey in their own hands and to walk it out by faith, because that's what I did. And so it was fibromyalgia, and so autoimmune, right? It was anxiety, depression, IBS. I mean, I could go on and on. It was a lot. It was about 15 years of suffering and being in tremendous amounts of pain. And I would say that, as we were chit-chatting before we just started the podcast, we were talking about like the communities of um, some of these like autoimmune communities, and like how I felt being in those. I just want to say that I didn't feel a lot of hope being in those communities. That was once I received my diagnosis, but it just didn't sit right with me that people weren't believing for more. It didn't sit right with me that I would be a part of that number to stay right where I was. I felt they were a community, but they weren't a community for healing, hope, and something within me just said, "You got to get out of here. this is not this is not where you need to be. There's something bigger, better that you can heal." And as you mentioned, I'm a faith-based woman. Everything that I do is sought out through prayer, um, just finding that quiet space to listen for God's voice with direction. And I've been that way for the majority of my life, even since like about like 12 years old, honestly. Um, and as I've grown, even though I had, faith, I didn't have a whole lot once I was dealing with health issues. I didn't have a whole lot concerning that area. It's like, oh, faith is good for all these different things, but I'm not so sure about this. I don't know what I'm dealing with. I don't know why I'm in pain. I don't know why I always feel like a truck has hit me. Why I have absolutely no energy, why my stomach is always bothering me, why I'm super forgetful and foggy. I'm so deeply depressed. I didn't know why, but I knew that I had enough. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's the best way that I could describe it. When you get to that point in your life, I want to say to anyone that may feel that way, I say that's a great place to be. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, there's a fire and a fuel that is birthed from feeling that way. and use it to have you to push forward and to seek out more. Um, so that's exactly what I did. Every moment of desperation, every moment of feeling sick and tired of being sick and tired, I sought God. I literally stopped and prayed and said, I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm dealing with it, but I need you to give me answers. I need you to show me signs. I need you to point me in the right direction. And through the power of social media, like connecting with you, Kevin, is the same way that I connected with now a good friend of mine. Her name is Nicole Brantley. She's a detox specialist, and she helped me start my journey through the power of fruits, especially cleansing the colon and all of that. And I just learned a whole lot more about how my body worked. And I learned that fibromyalgia was not a stamp that I had to keep on me as a label, as my identity. Um, it gave me hope at first hearing about fibromyalgia, like, oh, so that's a name I can put to what I'm feeling. That only gave me a little bit of satisfaction for a moment. And then it was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to call this my fibromyalgia. It does not belong to me. I'm not going to keep it. I want to be able to release it and heal from it. And so I was given the courage to know, and I was given the information to know that I can heal. Yes, that's reversible. So is everything else, you know? And I went on a journey of eating raw till 4. That's where it all started. Um, and that in itself, I did it for like 3 months straight, changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. It wasn't perfect. You know, I ate maybe like sprouted bread here or there, or just, but I went from standard American diet right into that. So it was a huge shift. And the first month, I had not felt I want to say after the first month, I had not felt not one fibro flare up, not one. And every symptom that I was dealing with was being erased off the list. So every single month, it got better and better. Month 3, I was just golden. I felt better than I ever felt in my entire life. And so that's where it started. And then I eventually led into deeper forms of detoxification as I continued to work on my body. But from the birthing of that healing, I started sharing with everybody that I knew, like, this is how you can heal. Hey, you don't have to suffer, all those things. And that's, I was helping people for free for about 3, 4 years just because I wanted to see people well and whole. So feel free to cut me off or interject if there's anything you want to. Do you want me to keep
You're
going?
all good. If you want to keep going, I wrote down some things, but you're all good. You want to keep going?
Absolutely. Yeah. What would you like to?
Yeah, no, I think I mean there's so many similarities for sure. Anyone that's listened or watched, my story or anything like that definitely knows that there's so many similarities and you've seen it for sure. And partly why you're here, resonating so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, I see you and your story and me in so much in so many ways. And probably a lot of people listening too. Unfortunately, this has become too common, a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, the suffering has become too common, but also, fortunately, the healing has become so common as well. Because it's like there's so many people now, I think it's thousands of people like us almost, that
Yeah.
are overcoming this stuff, right? And a couple things I think is if you want to talk, I'll just share some of the things I said and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So one is scripture. So if there's anything you want to share for scripture, like even like a lot of people talk about, let's say for the beginning, like Genesis and Garden of Eden and some
Yes.
how we're supposed to eat from there. I know a very common thing that I think is, I mean, should be more common. I'm sorry, is a known thing, but it should be more common um, within faith-based healing. And I've seen many people, and I even have stories on here of people starting with the Daniel's fast. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that is like everything that we do pretty much, right? Already. And then yeah, it's not my identity, right? And so you see I share, and I was inspired by Goodbye Lupus, Dr. Brooke Goldner, and I think she wrote the book Goodbye Autoimmune Disease. But creating, inspiring that, creating Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, support group, right? Was
Yeah.
inspired through that as well, and just in around so much deeper than just like feeling better, but everything from the identity, all the things that you described around it too, right? And just thinking of what's just the best ways, like even Goodbye Lupus is incredible, what she shares and how many people she helps, and it's so similar to a lot of the things that we share as well. But I still think there's a little bit more, and that's great, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit more of the parasites, or maybe a little bit more on the gut health, or whatever, and that's okay, I think that it's important. What's most important is that we're all working together, ideally, and we're collaborating, kind of like this, because it's so hard alone and we can't do it alone. And that's the biggest thing that I realized I can't do but it's alone. Like this whole podcast has not even been alone. It's built upon everyone. Like it's not even me. Like there's barely any that are just me. And and I couldn't do it alone for sure. And right, Raw Till 4, like if you think about it, like that's like a lot of that's like I don't even talk about it that much, but maybe I should more. Because it's kind of like a lot of the life, like definitely the most consistent lifestyle that I've lived for being the most healthy. Even if I'm not perfect, I'm still doing that almost always, right? Like it's almost always Raw Till 4, not even thinking about it, just because it feels the best. And like but if you think about, let's say you just do that, like for the average person, like that's probably, let's say Raw Till 4 and their great meals or whatever, great, just doing great during that time. That would be like I average person, probably like 2 meals and maybe 2 snacks during that time. And that's a huge, huge impact. And I think sometimes people struggle with, I'm going all in and I'm going all juicing and for, whatever, 100 days or whatever it is. It doesn't matter the time frame, 20 days, 10 days. That's great. But then it's like stop and start, stop, start. Doing the juice and doing great, back to maybe standard American diet or whatever, something like that. And but I almost think like this, like the idea like the raw tofu or anything like that is like what I've seen for most people is like the one of the best ways to like the most consistent long term, like for years and years and years and years. Whereas like some other kind of things I see is like start and stop kind of thing. And the 90 days, like 90 days, 3 months, you say you hit that mark, like, and you're feeling golden, that's the key. Like we say like 15 years or whatever, 20 years, decades, right? Generations, trauma, disease, right? You've been bombarded with this. It's so ignorant and naive for us to think it'll just be better in a few days,
Yeah.
or a month. Like, give yourself at least the grace of 90 days, right? Like being good on that time and like give yourself yeah, that opportunity to feel it, right? Because then you may want to continue, that sort of stuff. And oftentimes, for most people, like anything, a lot of the habit kind of research and that kind of stuff is like most of it's seemingly like 90 days. We're like building the habit, like that's gonna stay. Like a transformation we talk about, right? Is lasting change.
Yes.
Like a butterfly doesn't transform and then go back to a caterpillar that I've ever
It
seen.
sure doesn't.
Right. And so it's transformation is permanent, lasting change. And that's like
Mhm.
kind of the goal or the main goal, right? So
I
anyway,
love
yeah,
that.
those are some things
I
if you
love
want to
that.
add to or share.
Oh, I love that. What you just said about a caterpillar being transformed into a butterfly, because what I heard and what I just thought was also the period of darkness, the the cocoon. That's the part where people might want to give up the whole start and stop. When you have to face yourself, when you have to, do the warrior's work, and all these emotions start coming up, and it gets real hard. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better, and oftentimes you have to really remember your why. That's when you have to plug in the deepest and plug in the most. And then, yes, it may feel deep, it may feel dark, and all of a sudden it gets easier and easier and easier. And then you're like, hey, this is it. This is what I want for my life, you know? It's not a quick fix. It's not a, oh, I'm gonna do this for 2 weeks, a month, you know, and then I'm gonna go back to what I was doing. Why would you go back? There's nothing back there. There's literally nothing back there. So you have to remember what it took to get you to feel the way you were feeling, you know, and say, hey, wait a minute, those were addictions. Those were, you know, maybe some emotional eating or emotionally coping that way. And you have those epiphanies when you're healing. You didn't realize how addicted you were until you started putting more of God's foods in your body. And then you're like, wow, oh, I had it bad, you know? And not to beat yourself up, because that is definitely not a part of the journey. It shouldn't be anyway. You know, we're human. You may initially, but you have to do this erase and replace as soon as
Well,
those negative thoughts.
if you do the raw till four, then you have that, oh, I'll just have this at night.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about perception. It's all about perception. You could either look at that. Okay, by nighttime I could eat I'm gonna eat this thing, you know, or you could say, you know what? I'm going to eat something that reminds me of that, but that's healthier, you know? Let's switch it up a little bit. But I love you said so many different things. And I wanted to say you were talking about scripture wise, but yeah, in Genesis, that's often talked about a lot. Genesis 1 and 11, it says, then God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed in itself on the earth. And it was so. Um, there's another verse in here, and I didn't
Really
want
quick
to.
on that. Some people always say like, oh, we're not supposed to eat grass and you need four stomachs and all this stuff, and we're not cows or whatever, and like eating leaves and whatever, like herbs or whatever.
Yeah,
But it's like, first of all, like all the things that it heals and all the things we've seen, like, come on, you know?
yeah,
And then like, but also like we see green so vibrantly for a reason. Every tree is green, like that we see, and it's like so in your face, and we love it so much. Like greens, blues, and reds.
hmm.
Like blue, the
It
sky,
pulls you
the
in.
water are like the main, and like to me, like there's no way that's not food. And of course, there's not good grass to eat. But then there's
But
also
there are
incredible
herbs. There are
sprouts.
herbs.
What a grass could be a sprout though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Like their
Yes.
coconut trees are in the grass family, I think. And so
Oh, wow.
like I think so. Part of the some way down the grass, like so you know, it's just like, but it's one of those things that like that people say whatever to discredit
Yeah.
you, to put you down, to say I'm not going to change, right? But I
It's
don't
so
know. I just
true.
think about that one like sometimes.
But then you got to look at all the other things that we know to be true about our teeth, and we have fangs, we have little nubs on our fingers, like our digestive tract, and like the length of it. Like there's so much information out there now. Like I don't understand how it's not understood, but what I can say is I've taken it from the perspective of let people do what they want to do, right? I'm going to live my life. I'm going to walk out this journey. And if someone else has questions along the way, or they see that I've reversed something, they see me working through things, then I'll be here to answer and, you know, answer questions and share more about it. But I'm not going to force what I'm doing on anybody. I learned about that the hard way in the beginning of my journey. I'm just going to be honest, with my family, with those closest to me, but it was out of wanting them to be well. Of course, it's always that good feeling behind, like, oh, I want them to be healthy. I don't want to, and because you know of what ingredients or things they're actually eating. And so you can kind of go down this big rabbit hole. And allow you to gain this posture that isn't really beneficial for those in your life. So just like you have all of us have free will. God created us with free will to choose to do. And I should not think just because I'm changing my journey that everyone who's right next to me should be doing the same thing. That's like overstepping on their free will. And I learned that that's not good. So you just live by example and you live with love. Let love be the vehicle, not condemning, because there's a lot of that in the vegan community as well. There's a lot of people bashing. Oh, the meat eaters, the this, the that. There's a lot of angry people in there as well.
And even the infighting too, like, oh, animal rights versus plant-based.
Yes, yes. And as soon as I feel like the hatred that spews from people, no matter what side, if I don't even refer to meat eaters just as carnivores, just people who eat meat, yeah, or animals. Some people say, don't even say meat, say animals. Whatever your posture is, you can't please everyone with your words. Whatever your posture is, we need to um, live and let live. Let people have their own journey, live by example, encourage people to, yes, take better care of their body. And for some, that may look different than the journey that you're on. And I just encourage people as a whole to be more aware of what they're putting in their body, to not eat haphazardly, not to eat mindlessly, to be conscious of what you're putting in. So, because there are ramifications, what you sow, you're going to reap a harvest from that one day. So, I want to put living foods in my body and I want to treat it the best that I can. I see the way I take care of my body as a form of worship to God, like giving gratitude. Like, wow, thank you for this body. I want to take so much better care. I didn't know better back then, but I do now. So, but yeah, there's a scripture because there's another one that I have read besides the one that I read, but it might be Genesis 11. I call it the address of the scripture, the address of the scripture mixed up, but it talks about fruit, every seed bearing, uh, fruit being for our meat, like that is you know, our meat. So, and yes, some people will go into the topic of, but there was a fall of man after that. So there's this whole thing that you can really go into. But overall, I say the beginning that God's original plan is not flawed. I don't see anything flawed with it. I I think that we would have been living so much longer if we stuck to it, you know. Um, and honestly, I just it's easier on your digestive stomach. Your skin is brighter. You sleep better. Hormone health and children are healthier. People are barely not even getting sick eating that way. So there's so many benefits, but yes, yes, exactly. And so I think that is living proof of what it does to the body as well. So for some people may have not, if I don't know if all your listeners are plant-based or they're for people all different areas of their life and different parts of their journey. But I just say take baby steps. And if you know yourself and you're a start and stopper, as you were saying, give yourself grace. You're human. It took all these years to get all these addictions, and you know, most likely you haven't really worked on addressing your emotions, because I feel like that has something to do with the start and stop too, the roots of a thing. But give yourself grace and the space to grow and learn with as many ups and downs as the journey has, but surround yourself with like-minded individuals, like you were mentioning about community, because that's what really helped me, is having like-minded people. And I didn't do it alone. Um, and every step of the journey, when I tried something new, there were always people who have either done it before me and I learned from them. And that's what really helped me the most. Yeah, support and community is crucial.
Yeah, for sure. I tried many times alone. In fact, like gave up a bunch of times doing it alone. And it wasn't until having community and the good foods and getting the root, going to the root, getting the gut and all the things, that was just like so important. A lot of people that are like, they're like, why? kind of like one of your kind of rhetorical questions is like, why not? Or why would you go back kind of thing, or a little bit of that, and like I think a lot of people are numbing themselves and choosing that, and so they don't they don't allow themselves to ever get to feel truly
Yeah.
and start to address, so like if they don't get to the so sick and tired of being sick and tired part, because they're always like blocking it with something numbing, whether alcohol to numb you know whatever medication, like even like my mom was on 25 meds and she got off 20 of them and had a
Wow.
huge reversal of a lot of things,
Wow.
fibromyalgia, all kinds of things. But the only challenge was it's just like maybe too little too late, she's still here, but she's struggling, and we'll see, but what I notice is when whatever pain is bad, it's just numbing, versus doing what she knows works, just
Yeah.
resorting to because I mean, it is easier. It is easier to lay there, like for temporarily, it's easier to lay there and just have someone put a bunch of meds in you, pain meds in you. It's a little bit easier than going to the gym, doing all the things, right? And so, like, that's what sometimes happen. And but the challenge is that she isn't feeling it. Like she's actually numb to it, you
Yeah.
know? And a lot of people are numb in a lot of ways. And they never let themselves unnumb themselves to
Mhm,
feel,
mhm.
right? It's like always, and like, it's even like a lot of the foods give that. A lot of the foods people are either given that. They're like, oh, well, I don't do alcohol and I don't do, but sometimes it's those foods are numbing you. I think I was a very numb. I was like, I have an iron stomach. I can eat anything I want. I think it was all numb. I think
Yeah.
all the sensory and everything was like gone. All the absorption, the gut was disintegrated. You know what I mean? And like, I think that's part of why I'm like, yeah. And like a lot of people are like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I can eat McDonald's. I'm good. You know, right?
Their
But
their
it's
their
being
gut
they're so numb.
microbiome is so accustomed to it that, but imagine you add in a more alkaline, food in there. And they're like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Something's wrong with that food. Like, no.
No, yeah, body's
That's
like now it's like getting that stuff out. It's like, oh, we got
yes.
some stuff and now we're ready to clear.
Yes. But the people, some of those people take that moment and say, "Oh, something's wrong with the food." No, like you said, it's cleaning it out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's part of
I
why I feel like I mean, I don't think I needed to, but partly I feel like everyone needed to go there, whatever their journey, but kind of went from like whatever standard American diet to vegan junk food kind of overnight, you know what I mean? Or so to speak. And that was like the beginning, right? And, but like part of me, if I went to like how I eat now today, like I remember like, oh, this hurts. Oh, this is not good. Oh, I don't like this, right? And kind of giving up, which kind of I did try a few different, different things of trying and giving up, for some of those reasons. And so partly I do understand it too. And even like when someone has it or someone has something really clean and I see how they taste or when their reaction, like I almost know, like almost right away, you know? And it's like, yeah, it's really interesting, you know?
yeah, you're like, "Oh, we really got some work to do." Yeah.
Yeah. And based on what they think it tastes like I'm like, oh, okay. If they're like, oh, it's real earthy and whatever, it's like you're very acidic and you very need this.
And that's how I knew when I did my first juice fast, which was really long. Well, not long because I mean it depends on who you're talking to because I know some people who've done like crazy long, amount of juice fast. But I did 80 days. And during the 80 days, I remember trying to drink the lemon ginger blast. I'm sure you're familiar with that. You familiar with the lemon ginger? It's
A
Lou
little bit, yeah.
Corona's recipe. Well, it's very green, as you were saying. And I wanted to almost cry literal tears trying to make myself drink that. It was so hard for me to drink. And I knew not initially I didn't know, but later I was like, it's not you that doesn't like it. It's the parasites, it's the gunk and junk in the body. It's like, oh, we're dying, And now I could drink that. So it just goes to show, and eat other things I didn't like, and the whole gut microbiome has shifted totally.
I couldn't eat
And
fruit like that before. Like I
yeah,
started like until my gut was healed, and I was like, I couldn't. Yeah, like now I'd be like, yeah, watermelon could be a meal, or oranges could be a meal, or like a blood oranges and golden nugget mandarins here. And that's the other thing too,
mhm,
like and like or whatever greens, ready to
mhm,
go. Having it everywhere, all in my car, in my on my counter, on my everywhere, in my fridge, in my freezer, everywhere. I in my bag, I carry a bag with me everywhere I go. Like I don't care. I don't care if people are like, oh, that's feminine, that guy with the purse. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
that's
this is
right.
my food and my water.
Yes,
Like, I want to
yes.
make sure, and like I don't care, right?
No
Because like,
excuses.
yeah, and like, but that's so important too. Like, it's like someone were like, oh, I got the good stuff. It's up on the top shelf. Oh, it's on top of my fridge. How many times people say I tell me this? Oh yeah, I was on my fridge. What the hell is it doing over there?
You can't see it, are you?
What the? Why is it up there?
Especially on the go, being on the go eating this way is, it's been an eye-opening experience from the beginning till now. Like now it's second nature. Now, like I don't leave anywhere without having something prepared. Like if I know I'm going to be out for a while, even if it just means grabbing, a couple different pieces of fruit or whatever, I don't go anywhere empty-handed. Or if it's an event or family stuff, I go
Yeah, and I'm not
prepared. Yeah.
perfect. Even if it's not perfect, like let's say whatever. I know well, I just try to be smart and I've tested so many things. What if I do not? What if I do this? What if I do this? What if I do that? Like just trying all these different things. What if I have my green juice before a meal that's not so healthy? How do I feel? What if I have some fruits right before? What if like so like it doesn't mean you have to say no to everything, you
Mhm.
know? Like I have open for social social things, right? There's some openness around the food because I understand, the social aspect of food and that sort of stuff, right? So like if I know I'm not gonna eat so good, I might, have some extra gut health stuff, have some extra greens, have some extra whatever, things that I know are protective, right? There's one that's it's in a prickly pear cactus, but one of the
Mhm.
compounds in prickly pear cactus, like the fruiting part of the cactus, it helps to block absorption of glycogen and glycogen, like the sugars and
Mhm.
alcohols, even alcohol sugars.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have that as an example, and you go have some alcoholic drinks, right? It'll help block the absorption of that, right?
Wow.
For like the first few, obviously like like two, you might be okay, we'll have way less damage. And like just interesting things like about the plants and like the protection, and it's just so like yeah, like I'm open. I do things like that sometimes, and I open or share with, little things like that, like, oh, you're not gonna be perfect. Oh, you're gonna go out. Oh, there's an event. Oh, you're gonna have a birthday party. Oh, you're gonna have like whatever. Like
Mhm.
have this before, have some of this before, and like see how you
Yeah.
feel kind of thing.
I think what you eat before would also help you to not crave certain things too. Like sometimes I feel like if you start your day strong, then you're less likely to eat other things. So versus starting your day with the thing you're like, ugh, makes you feel a certain type of way, and then trying to get back to healthy stuff. So I feel like starting strong is always great. But I definitely understand what you're saying about like going out and eating amongst other people and social activities. For me, it's about um, is it worth certain things, is it worth it for me, especially being someone that has had that like quick kickback result of eating something, how the body responds quickly. So if it's not worth it, I have some non-negotiable things that I'm like, I will never, and then there's some things I'm like, okay, I'll be fine eating that, I can have this. It may not be perfect, but I can do that. Or I'll supplement it. In terms of like bringing something extra with me, my own salad dressing or extra avocado or something to have with what's available. Or looking ahead at the website, calling ahead at the restaurant. Like I get all my information together before I go because I don't want to feel like, in order to have a social event, that I feel like I'm missing out. Like I have to get the sad salad that just has cucumber and tomato on it, and it looks so depressing. So I try to get my information before social engagements of that type of thing. Then I'm like, I should have brought, I could have made a banging salad at home. And, so there's certain things with eating out, but I definitely agree. Like some people just want to still have fun and, you know, so you do it your way, do what works best for you. And, be free in that way. But
Yeah,
if it's
because
not worth it,
for sure,
I
yeah,
wouldn't
for
recommend
sure.
it.
Yeah, definitely. Because yeah, some people go like, I'm never gonna go out and eat with anyone ever again. Some people are like, oh, I'm just gonna do it anyways and suffer. It's like, where is there a balance? Is there maybe there's a in-between-ish part,
Yes.
that we can learn
Yes.
from,
I
some
agree.
those have been before us, the giants before us.
That's right. Listen and pay attention to those who have done it and try different, like you said, try different things. You said, oh, let me try a green drink before I have this, or, so be flexible. You have to be super flexible to learn your body and learn how it reacts to different things. And, like for example, I was doing a lot of fruit juicing before, and now I lean more towards green juice with the fruit in it, and I eat more of the fruits. So that's what I've been doing lately, and I really like how I feel that way. So it's not to say it's a, cookie cutter method for every single person. It's just what I'm doing right now, and I like it. It seems to be
Yeah,
working.
definitely.
Yeah.
I feel the best I feel is having high quality greens and fruits
Hmm.
is what I've noticed. And they could be made any way, the fruits, is what I noticed. Like sometimes it'll be frozen, sometimes it'll be, right from right
Room
from the
temperature.
farm, right
Yep.
directly from the, off the tree. Sometimes it's, you know, sun dried or whatever, you know. It's my mindset is like get the fruits in, get it in.
Just
Get them
get it in
in.
you.
Get them in anyway. We're like, oh, but it's not this and this and that and that. Like get them in, and that's definitely where I feel the best for sure. And also been able to perform like athletically the most too. Because sometimes it's like, oh well, if you're eating that, then you won't have enough energy, and there's more energy in this and this and that. Like, I don't think so. Like, I definitely
Sorry.
don't think so. No, it's all good. I don't think so for energy. No, that cuts that out pretty good actually. Um, Zoom does a pretty good job on the muting. The background noise. Okay, so is there anything that you want to wrap us up with today? Is there anything that you want to say to wrap this up?
Um, I just want to say that there still is hope. Where there's life, that there is hope. So no matter where you are, you're listening to this podcast, no matter if you started your healing journey and stopped, no matter if you've been frustrated and gave up on it, if you have life, there's still hope. You have purpose, you have air in your lungs, there's a reason to start again. Never give up on yourself. You are worth pursuing full and total healing. And it's your birthright. It's your birthright. So just take it one step at a time. Progress over perfection. That's what I say to people in my community all the time, like a broken record. Don't beat yourself up. Start where it makes sense for you, and then work yourself farther up. You know, continue to challenge yourself in small ways, but also baby step it. Unless you're maybe in a position where you feel like I'm dealing with the most chronic thing and I am ready for a deep dive. That's how my journey started. It started with a deep dive. What was a deep dive for me, going from standard American to raw till four. Um, and that works too. So do what you feel called to do. Know that you don't have to do it alone. Look for like minded individuals, people who have walked this journey out, like Kevin or myself, and many others. Um, and that your mindset will determine a lot. Your mindset holds so much weight. If this does not shift, nothing else will stick. So be open to hearing a different story, a different narrative. And also watch the words that you speak, because you have the power of life and death in your tongue. What you say matters. So even if you don't feel it when you first say it, just work on changing your verbiage, changing your perception one day at a time, and one little baby step at a time. That may feel wobbly, but soon enough, you'll go from wobbly to walking to running to soaring. So I'm here to encourage you that you can love yourself to health. You don't have to do it alone. Let God empower you on your journey.
Amen. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it, and great message. And for those that are like thinking, that are listening, that are maybe like, man, I need a community. I need some like-minded people. I need to be around this. Well, we are part of an incredible community, the Divine Family. So if you want to join us there, I'll have the information down below as well. So you could always, come by and check us out. People like Shadé and so many other people like that are there, for their healing journey, and me as well, sharing stories and just being there for support. There's lots of support and guidance, and being able to not do it alone, because it's so hard. It's so hard. And we're just not designed that way. We're so social creatures that we're just not designed to be lone wolves. Anyways.
Yeah, for sure. We're not. Oh, and my socials, if you don't mind, is on Instagram, love yourself, the number two, health underscore. And you can find me on Facebook as Shadi Martin. And I have a Facebook community called Love Yourself to Health Community. And then I do different groups and things of that nature called Eat Like Eden, off and on. So the next one will be May 12th. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Kevin. I
Yeah,
really appreciate you.
amazing. We'll put the links down below as well, for
Thank
that.
you.
All right. Well, thank you, and have a very blessed day.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Please, please, please make sure that you guys share this with anyone that you think will find this interesting. And also make sure that you guys are subscribed, because I can see a lot of you guys are listening, but you aren't subscribed.